Welcome everybody to another episode of Section 305. I'm Raul Pagan here with my team, my co-workers from the Miami Heat, Nick Dupont and Kolya Zabler. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty good, Raul. How you doing?
It's going good.
All good, all good. I mean, we're in a busy summer because NBA draft, NBA free agency, as well as NHL. And then we're almost ending the first half of the MLB season, the WNBA. NFL training camp is approximately like 2 weeks. So we're anxious for August because of the college football season, started NFL, and then goes the rest. But we got a lot of topics today. Like, this is actually the first time that we're dividing most of the North American professional sports with baseball, football, and basketball. And so we're going to be talking a little bit more local, but then once we finish with MLB and NFL, then we're going to be hitting the NBA free agency, which actually has been very surprising. Now, on a sad note, not for Kolya, because right now the Clippers, they're actually looking even more interesting. So congratulations with the signing of Brook Lopez and with the pieces that you still have. And with the pieces that you still have, if Kawhi Leonard is healthy, Ivica Zubac produces like he did last season, that was actually his best season of his whole career, which is very, very important. And the rest of the role players, they actually could have gone to the second round. So now with a backup center, which actually could be a starter, or coming off the bench for Ivica Zubac, like Brook Lopez, who knows how to win a championship, and he's actually a good defender, even though he's a little slow in the pick and roll. Like the Clippers,
I mean, he is 37.
Yeah. And he's still producing on a high level. Like, that's why the contract that the Clippers offer him, basically, it was good, it was stable, and now they don't have to go over the cap space. I still think the Clippers are still going to do a couple of other different moves just to be like official contenders or
I've seen that
very
the
dangerous team
runners for Chris Paul. So
yeah, you already gave James Harden a big extension, $81 million. Well deserved regular season. We'll talk about him in the postseason type of.
Hey, don't bring up the postseason.
All right, so I'm just trying to congratulate you because the Clippers are doing well now. Nick, Miami.
We'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Yeah.
We'll get into it, but since we're talking local, why don't we just start with the first, which is the Miami Marlins winning 8 straight with a 2-0 victory over the Minnesota Twins, longest streak since 2008, and one shy from time franchise record. We also gotta give credit to Anthony Aguirre, who's mostly our producer also in this show. He's out, but
he's there right
now. Out.
Listen, Anthony, we need you to educate us on this baseball stuff. Okay.
Not here with us discussing this type of headlines, but like always helping us out with this important topics. So shout out to Anthony Aguirre. Hope we can have him next week's podcast. But now, the Marlins, for the first time in 17 years, 8-game winning streak. And before I give the first word to one of you guys, they don't have actually like a big marketing name, like a superstar in the batting rotation. Let them know in the pitching area, which they are top 5 worst ranked this season. Now, they're 7 games still below 400, but they just surpassed the Atlanta Braves, which I've been talking about them actually making like a comeback like the Padres did last season and making noise in the second half. So, Nick, I'll give you the first word. Is there finally a light shining on the Marlins, or is this just like a fluke mini momentum that they have?
Well, I feel like it's a little bit of momentum. It's a long season. It's 162 games. The Marlins recently, I think back at the beginning of the season, they had like an 8-game winning streak or like a 7-game winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. Then they proceeded to lose majority of their games after that. Right now, I'm going to say their shining light would have to be Kyle Stowers, bro. Kyle Stowers, in his last 8 games where they've been winning, he's been hitting 390. He's been hitting 393, 4 home runs, and 10 RBIs. Mind you, in his previous 31 games, he was hitting 228, 0 home runs, and 5 RBIs. So out of nowhere, this guy has just finally started hitting the ball and has been clicking for this team. And he's been the main reason why they've been moving forward. I mean, the entire team's been hitting the ball well. The pitching's been great. But I just feel like it's a shed of momentum at the moment. I don't really see them still moving forward like they intend to, like they're trying to make those playoff strides, they say, but every year they're doing the exact same thing of either being a little bit shy out of the playoffs or rebuilding or making it to the 8th seed and then just getting absolutely destroyed in the wild card. So honestly, I think it's just a fluke because I don't see this team moving forward anymore.
Kolya,
it was weird because you said both answers.
yeah. Like, all right,
listen, there is
a lot of shining.
So basically, it's like, all right. So instead of 50-50, you're 51% in which one and 49% in the other. Like,
I stand by the fact that it's a fluke and they've had their momentum shifts, but there is a little bit of shining light for certain players. But as a whole, I think this run is a fluke, man, because these teams can go on runs, like it happens, like. It's baseball. I
got you. It's baseball. So you're going 51 as a fluke, 49% as their light shining because of the players.
Let's say 52-48. I'll give you that.
All right, so it's 52-48. All right, 52 on the fluke. All right, Kolya?
Oh, it's definitely a fluke. Like, as you guys were mentioning, I mean, it's baseball. Like any team can win 8 games, right, in a row. It's just the Marlins have been bad for so long that it's impressive.
That's why it's a big headline. That's why it's like we're surprised.
Yeah. But I mean, this is a team that got swept by the Colorado Rockies.
True.
So
and that hurts
they swept the Giants, and that was impressive. But to sweep the Diamondbacks, it's not really impressive. The Diamondbacks.
It's not the same team as the one that underground. Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's not the same team as underdogs that made it to the World Series.
It's good that they're winning games because they're building momentum, but they're getting a little bit too good that I feel like ownership needs to step in and trade a player or two because that's what happens when the Marlins get too good.
It's the Marlins way. It's the Marlins way.
That's the Marlins way. So you know what? This is a debate show, and so since Anthony since Anthony is not here,
we know his take.
We know his take, and so I need to go with you guys 3-0.
Yeah.
How many teams we've seen this season having over 5-game winning streak, and how many teams like the Marlins we've seen them have over 6-7 game losing streak? So there's been so many teams this season that's had their up and downs. The Marlins, surprisingly, they're 38-45, surpassing the Braves, which I gave the Atlanta Braves. All right, Kolya, you gotta understand me in this situation. I gave the Braves the benefit of the doubt because last season the Padres, they were actually ranked number 1 offensively in batting. And they didn't had key players like Fernando Tatis Jr. And then when they had a couple players like Sander Bogaerts, Manny Machado, Luis Arraez, when they traded for him, who was with the Miami Marlins breaking records in batting average? Luis Arraez. When the Padres acquired him, right now, they were like the best offensive team. And I was like, why are they having such a bad record? Because in the pitching area, they were struggling. They were inconsistent. And then, start of the second half, they went on a run. They were the hottest team in the National League. And they were 1 game away to making it to the championship game. And I know this hurts, but that's actually the same thing that I was comparing with the Atlanta Braves. Because they got Ronald Acuna Jr. back. And they got the pieces to make noise. Austin Riley, Matt Olson, Ozzy Albies, and the rest of the crew. Now, in the pitching area, they're struggling as well as the Padres were doing last season. And so that's a team that actually, out of compare of others, I said, they're going to make a run in the second half. But right now, the Marlins are one game over them in the third place. And I said, man, they're actually looking to break their own record in winning streak. Other than that, like, they're pitching, they're top 5 worst in the league. It was actually in this winning streak that they have, they got 54 runs scored.
Yeah, that's not good.
Two of them were yesterday, which that means that they've had to rely on the batting, not on the pitching. Yesterday, finally, the pitching did a good job, and we gotta give credit to Edward Cabrera, Anthony Bender,
Let's not even forget
and Ronnie Enriquez. But
the Twins aren't impressive.
Yeah.
Well, let's not even forget this guy Funk. I think his name is James Funk, if I'm not mistaken. He's a pitcher for the Marlins. He's right now in his last 7 games started. He's a 2-0 record, and he's been pitching lights out. He's actually starting today against the Twins. So
yep.
I'm pretty interested to see how he does.
Yeah, so like that could be a big factor for them winning tonight, just like they did yesterday. But when you have, all right, let's just exclude yesterday's game. 52 runs in 7 games, that's actually good for a Marlins team that doesn't have a superstar or a big marketing name. Like, who's the big marketing name? Kyle Stowers? Yeah, well deserved. Just like yesterday, he was the most valuable player in the lineup. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 home run, 1 RBI. And then Agustin Ramirez, he's also been balling. Like, you have a couple of players that actually have double-digit home runs this season. And then a couple of that have over 250 in batting average. But those are, like Kolya and Nick, you guys just said, they are shining for them to get their name out. To either for people to get notice them. Like if they want to be recruited for a contending team or get a big paycheck, either is from the Marlins or another team. But like pitching wins championships, defense wins championships, especially in baseball, and they're top 5 worst. So right now, before the trade deadline, they either gotta recruit a couple of good pitchers, you know what I'm saying, especially the ones that close out the games. Or, since they're relying on the batting, get a real superstar in that rotation. Basically just like the Giants did. But there's a difference between the Giants, because the Giants actually are not the best offensive team. They're the best defensive team and in the pitching area. But they needed a guy like Rafael Devers, like the topic that we discussed, just to like give a little boost to that offense. But the Marlins, like, the most expectation I gave them is they're going to be battling for a playoff spot. But actually, I see them building for the future. Now, for this season...
yeah, that is the idea.
For this season, I swear to God, I already have a bet with Anthony that if they trade Anthony Simons, that I'm gonna be suspended for 1 or 2 weeks in this podcast. I'm betting as well, if the Marlins make it to the playoffs, give me 3 weeks suspended. Because there's no way I'm going to put them over the Phillies, over the Mets. Even the Mets are been struggling lately. I'm not going to put them over the Cubs, over the Brewers, or over the Cardinals. How many teams are those? Those are 5, right? And then the most dangerous division, where Kolya's team is, the San Diego Padres, where they're actually in the 2nd spot. I got the Dodgers, them, and the Giants, and even the Diamondbacks, who are 1 game above 500. So those are 8 teams, right? And then I'm still going to give the benefit of the doubt to the Braves. Those are 9 teams over the Marlins. So, of course, this is a fluke. This is just a basic momentum that they have to possibly break their own record in winning streaks. That's it.
That's it.
I'm not gonna.
Very nice and simple, man. Because every year it's the same thing with the Marlins. They're trying to develop their youth. You know, they have these young stars, and they always trade them. So I'm tired of it, honestly. Like, I'm happy they're doing well, and I'm sorry, Anthony, but you need to be here if you're gonna fight for this.
Most definitely. And at the same time, I wanted to finish this off, basically saying like the Marlins are the best team in the league drafting, but they're even better trading future prospects that have become MVPs, All Stars, champions in this league. That's what actually they're better at, and receiving a bag of chips for those stars.
Ridiculous.
It is what it is. And so, since we're talking a little bit local, before we get to the NFL, which Nick is not happy about, let me give him a little bit of.
You know what? I'll take that, Raul. Thank you. Thank you. You know what? That got me very excited. And I like the hat. I like the hat too. You know, I respect it. Respect it. Yeah, and the Florida Panthers, they've been making moves, man. You know, they brought back Marchand, Ekblad, and
The floor is yours, Nick. The floor is yours.
Listen, man, I've been talking already. I already took the floor before you could even give it to me, all right? But these guys, dude, I'm so glad that they brought
Aaron
them back.
Ekblad, Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, they're key players to this championship team. They are back. And so
Dude,
let's take out the Marlins because, like we just said, they're a fluke. Let's talk about the Panthers re-signing 3 big pieces and also making a couple of trade moves. Like, Nick, explain to the audience, what do you think about this team trying to repeat right now?
Well, I was
Three-peat.
going to say, I know
That's
Kolya-
Three-peat.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you,
I know
Kolya.
Kolya doesn't like to hear it, but we will be three-peating, in my opinion. I don't want to say it's too early, but we have the best core in all of the NHL, the best defense in all of the NHL. We have the best coach in the NHL. We are the standard of hockey, and we've been the standard of hockey for 2 seasons. And Kolya's looking at me with that face of, what the hell are you saying? But rings describe everything, bro. And the way that this team has played, and now that they got their guys back that are sticking with each other, it's over, man. The league is
Yeah, it's over for them. It's over for them because they're not gonna be back there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right, man.
You'll see.
Yeah, okay. Talk to me when the Devils are like the Panthers.
Hey, I'm not saying the Devils, but I'm saying they're not gonna make the Stanley Cup final next year.
Listen.
Oh, really?
Who do you have?
Why is that? Yeah. What do you got in the Eastern?
Who do I got in the Eastern?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens in free agency, and I'll let you guys know.
Oh my God!
Well, I mean, the free agency just started. I mean, we are in free agency. What are you talking about?
No, I mean like when it's finished.
Oh, when it's finished? I mean,
Yeah.
So basically, we're gonna talk about the Lakers as well, even though they just got DeAndre Ayton. Not a big acquisition, in my opinion, but that's what we're doing. Like, the free agency has started for the NHL and the NBA, and now you're just waiting for it to end. Like, when it ends, there's no big players to basically sign.
What if McDavid goes to the Lightning? I think that could be.
That's next year.
No, that's going to be this year, brother.
So you're picking him to go to another Florida team just out of spike?
You're saying McDavid's going to get traded?
Yeah, I think he's going to get traded. I could see the Capitals. I think they need to play better in the playoffs, but I could see them.
The Washington Capitals?
Yeah.
Let's just say that they were a fluke as well this season.
But the thing is, with all these teams that you're naming, they will all get shut down by this Panthers team in the playoffs. I'm sorry, with the way that this team played, any team will beat them. The only team I was scared of the only 2 teams I was scared of was Edmonton and Washington. Washington got eliminated by Carolina, and we played Edmonton again.
Actually,
and we dominated both of those teams.
Actually, I was more scared of Carolina. I was more scared of Carolina than Washington. Washington, for me, was just like, you guys had a good regular season, but it's not going to go as well as the playoffs. Playoffs is a different level, is a different stage, and pressure breaks pipes.
Listen, we lost Nico Sturm, we lost Nate Schmidt, and Nate Schmidt was fantastic for us on the defensive end.
They were good. They were good pieces.
Yeah, they were.
Pieces, but
Nico Sturm was a great guy on the 4th line that could come in and just be a bruiser, and he made some great plays. But at the end of the day, it's the same thing with the Panthers. They're going to find these guys that are going to be bruisers that just don't need to score goals, just hit people and antagonize them and just absolutely get to their head.
Nick, this is actually where I've been always disagreeing with teams after they win a championship. I know it's difficult with the cap space and they're gonna be asking for big contracts after their performances, and so that's tough for a lot of general managers and presidents working on those type of deals. But right now, what the Panthers just did was basically said, we're going for that three-peat. We're going for that three-peat because they resigned Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett, who combined for 42 points and 25 goals, 17 assists. And then when you got Aaron Ekblad, who led the defense in points, like that was actually the most priority thing for the Florida Panthers. Yes, we lost Nate Schmidt. Yes, we lost a couple of pieces. And now we're making a couple of trades. Even the backup goalie for Sergei Bobrovsky.
Yeah, and I know Tarasov has had his moments in Columbus, but most of the time he's had losing records in his past. He's been a backup, but he's a veteran, and he grew up. It's funny actually. He grew up in the same town as Sergei Bobrovsky, and Sergei Bobrovsky looked up to Tarasov's father as a goalie. Tarasov's father was never an NHL goalie; he was just like a Russian league goalie. But that was his idol growing up to play goalie. So it's interesting, And I don't want to say they're paving the way for the next great Russian goalie. But it's
all right.
There's a little bit of similarity in there.
Look, he even muted himself. He doesn't even want to speak anymore.
Yeah, he couldn't even take it.
You couldn't even take it right now. He's not speaking. Let's take him off the screen for a moment. But yeah, definitely, Nick. Like, it's been a while that we've seen actually. I can talk NBA. I can talk NHL, NFL, and any other league. Which team has actually tried to resign big pieces of the reason why they went all in and made it to the championship game and won it? And now basically that they got almost the same core. When you got almost the same core that won 2 championships and try to make a three-peat, like right now the Panthers should be looking like the favorites in the East. No matter the outcome of the regular season, like playoffs, biggest stages, that's where they've actually performed. Even in 2023, they were actually the favorite to make it all the way to the Stanley Cup against the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And they did.
Yeah, that's the thing. And Vegas was one of those teams that I was going to mention that tried to bring back all their players to just keep their core together. But again, they lost all their money. They didn't have enough money,
Exactly.
Tampa, same thing with Tampa with those 3 seasons. They kept their core together, won 2 championships. But look what happened after. Steven Stamkos got older. They had to move on from him. And just eventually all their players just went and moved on. So, it just happens, Like, it's going to happen with Rodriguez, probably for Hagee. Like, we're probably going to lose those guys after.
We're still waiting. Yeah, we're still waiting basically for those type of update. Hopefully, like, they can agree to good terms. You know what I'm saying? For them to resign with the team, but I would understand if they leave for bigger and better money.
Do you think Marchand is going to last 6 years on this with the Panthers?
I'll give it 3-4 years. I'll give it 3-4 years. I'll give it 3-4.
He's 37.
So what are you expecting us to be like the Boston Celtics to win like 7 straight championships? Or you think we're gonna be the Montreal Canadiens to win like 6 straight championships when the NHL began in the 50s? That's what you think that's gonna happen? No, we're just actually.
I was gonna say, Kolya, don't pull.
Why would I have
the age card either? Because Crosby's 37 and Ovi's almost like 39, I think. Ovi's like 38, 39. And those guys are aging fine. Like they're moving slower, but they're still scoring and making plays. And that's what they're banking on with Marchand.
Aging fine like wine, my man. That's all you gotta know. That's all. I feel bad for your team. It is what it is. Like you're not gonna see them.
Hey, look, when we get healthy, man, we're gonna be good.
On 2030?
No, this year, bro.
This year? Come on.
The Devils are gonna be good. We had our star player out. He was out like in February. He got injured the whole year.
I've got something to let you know. Other than certain leagues in NHL, you literally need a full cast to win a championship.
I know, but I'm saying all of our players got hurt.
Because if we would have talked about one player making a difference, Connor McDavid.
All of our players.
What happened? What happened in the Stanley Cup? Nick, why don't you explain
what
happened to Connor McDavid?
He wasn't injured.
Exactly. So he's actually the best player in the league. And when they needed him the most, when him and Leon Draisaitl were leading the playoffs in points, goals, assists. How is it different?
Because I said our best player got hurt, and you said, "Oh, like Connor McDavid." No, Connor McDavid never got hurt. He was just bad in this finals. Everybody knows that.
Exactly. So, all right, exactly. So,
what are you saying exactly for? Like,
all right, is your player had a big experience in the Stanley Cup?
No, but
so what are we talking about? So what are we talking about,
bro? Dude. I'm gonna suspend you right now, dude. Off the episode.
The best player on
you're not making any sense, bro.
Was Zach Hyman. That was the guy that was injured for Edmonton, and even without him, Edmonton people were
even with him, they would have lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Like Florida's the standard for hockey, and it's going to be like that for years. They just lost Corey Payne. They lost Evander Kane. Like, Edmonton's not going to be back for a minute. They're trying to set up now for next year, and I get what they're trying to do, but it's not going to work. Like, they lost a lot of their core this year, a lot of their core in free agency.
I think Vegas will be back. I think
Vegas in the West.
Marner, I think Marner is a huge move for them.
Vegas in the West, I agree that it's actually supposed to be contenders next season.
And maybe the Stars, just because they made the Western Conference Finals the past 3 years.
Stars are chokers.
I know.
I mean, guys, just to wrap it up and go with the NFL. At the same time, these two teams were underdogs. Like the Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, they were in the 5th position in the East, and the Oilers were in the 7th position in the West.
What did I tell you when the playoffs started? What did I tell you when the playoffs started? I told you that these rankings don't matter. We're winning this thing.
That is what
happened. They were lucky to make the playoffs, though, I will say.
Yeah, because
they got lucky as hell.
No, most definitely. I just want to basically put this head on just because we're actually
just to flex on me. Basically.
No, I'm not flexing on you because the reason why you were rooting with the Oilers is because you didn't want the Panthers to win. That's it.
No, I just don't want the same teams to win all the time. I'm okay with the Panthers winning.
So at least in the NHL, you don't agree that we haven't seen for decades a dynasty. I mean, the Penguins were not actually a dynasty when they won in 16-17. The Lightning were actually becoming a dynasty.
I don't think they were. In my opinion, I don't think they were a dynasty.
Chicago was a dynasty.
All right, so because they didn't convince nobody, but now watching the Panthers, they actually look like a new dynasty in this league, especially with the moves that they did in free agency. They actually retain their most valuable players and then focus on the rest.
If they get back to the Cup Finals, I could see. I'll consider them a dynasty. But if they don't, then it's the end of an era. I'm sorry. It's not gonna be end of era. I mean, it's like if they make it all the way to the championship, if they don't make the Stanley Cup Finals next year, they're not gonna make it for a while. That's all I'm gonna say.
Next year, bro. What do you? No. If we don't make it next year, I'm telling you right now, we are winning another championship. We are winning another championship within the next 5 years. That is 100% confirmed in my opinion.
No way.
What? You are smoking. Oh, there's no way, bro. After what you just saw for 3 straight seasons with this team, you would believe that we're not going back for the next 5 years.
Have the Lightning been back? Have the Lightning been back?
No, because they lost all their guys. We haven't lost any of our guys yet.
I think that you're getting hyped for no reason because
for no reason.
Hype for no reason.
We made the Stanley Cup 3 years in a row.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did the Lightning.
And they won 2. They can go back still.
They actually,
they can go back.
The Lightning won't make it. The Panthers won't make it. I'm telling you.
So you're predicting that?
You haven't named us a team that can.
The Hurricanes. I said the Hurricanes, and I said the Lightning.
Hurricanes out of all the East
and the
teams.
Capitals.
You are Washington. I can understand, but you just named the Hurricanes who played trash against them in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Listen,
yes, I'm saying trash.
Keandre Miller does add a lot for them, especially after that trade. He adds a lot to that team now, so that is a great reason. But after what we saw last year and 2 years prior to that, no, man. No, I'm sorry. I cannot believe that. I genuinely cannot believe it. Dude, you sit there and laugh, but you look at the supposedly best offense in the NHL shut down in fucking 5 games? Are you kidding? You're
Kolya,
Well, it went 6, no?
just to end this talk,
no, 5.
we just ended the first 30 minutes of this podcast. We got a second half to go.
I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
Well,
I just want. All right, so I just want to finish it with this. Kolya, do you know that the Panthers actually broke the record in goals scored?
Hey, man, I love to push people's buttons. On the road, so I'm glad I was able to push your buttons.
All right, take a breather, Nick. Take a breather. I got you. So you know that the Panthers actually just broke the record in goals scored on the road with 61 on the playoffs out of the 94 that they scored in total. They scored 94 goals in the playoffs, 33 at home, 61 on the road, which is actually the best playoff team we've seen in NHL history during the playoffs. And they outscored by 12 the LA Kings in 1993 when Wayne Gretzky was part of that crew, like part of that organization. So you're gonna tell me, like, after the history that we just saw, and them winning 10 games, which ties the playoff record on the road, like, if they're dangerous in the on the road, like at home, I understand, like, there's some teams that disappoint or don't produce at their local, but we just need them to take advantage when they finish in the 4th or 5th position, not having most local games.
It could be any position, because even in the first Stanley Cup, we were on the 8th seed and we made it all the way to the cup. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you, if you have a hot goalie and a team that's clicking like this Panthers team, they are going to win.
No, most definitely. So that, like, I'm trying to understand what's Kolya's defense right now. I mean, we can basically try to compare it to the Indiana Pacers last season defense in basketball. At the same time, they made it all the way to the Eastern Conference. This season, they got better. We can compare it to, like, the teams that have, like, the worst defense in the league. But at the same time, like, we can understand Kolya, his perspective and his position on teams that he feels like can be a threat with the Panthers, who actually can level up to them offensively. But right now, defensively, like, Kolya and the rest of the teams that he's mentioning right now, they're struggling of what basically we are arguing with. And while Kolya tries to get his camera fixed, Kolya, are you still with us here?
I'm on my phone now. I switched to my phone.
How convenient. All the problems happen as soon as the Panthers start winning.
All right. Yeah,
and once he focuses on other teams. All right, so we're going to try to make the next topic as quick as possible, because we're not trying to
because Nick went on a rant.
Because I don't want Nick to leave the show today. And I know this one hurts him.
I hope he does.
I know this one hurts him, because the Miami Dolphins have traded star quarterback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jono Smith and a 27 7th-round pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers in exchange for safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and a 2027 5th-round pick. So, all right, remember, I want to just clear to the crowd, and you guys already know, Anthony, other than being a part of our show, he's also our producer. He's actually the one that creates the headlines. So, Anthony, this is all on you on making this type of question. Does this elevate the Steelers' chances at a Super Bowl? And how badly does this hurt for the Dolphins, seeing Nick's face expression? So, Nick, I want to give it to you, but since you took the first one, Kolya, what do you think about this one?
Does this elevate the Steelers' chance? I'm going to say yes. I don't think that they have a chance of winning the Super Bowl, but it definitely elevates their chances.
It says if it elevates their chances of making it at the Super Bowl. Or if we're seeing the question at the Super Bowl, all right. So if it's at the
No,
Super Bowl,
I mean I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl.
all right. So if it's at the Super Bowl, that means Anthony's saying that they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
No,
Yeah,
That's the type.
which they're
That's
not
the type
going
of
to.
question. That's the type of question. All right. So continue.
I don't think it's not because of these two moves that they won't make the Super Bowl. It's because they signed Aaron Rodgers that they won't make it there.
So you think Aaron Rodgers is actually the guy that is
The guy that went
basically-
5-12 last year with the Jets? Yes.
So he's gonna be the reason why they don't even make it to the Super Bowl. That's what you're saying. That's your take.
Yeah, I mean, look, the defense is good. You know, they were good last year, despite the offense being terrible. You know, and then to get Jonnu Smith, repaired him with Arthur Smith. I think it's a good move for the Steelers, definitely, and they definitely won this trade.
So basically, like this is a team that is basically going all in to make it to the Super Bowl, but not winning it.
No, I mean I don't think they're not better than the Chiefs. They're not better than the Ravens, and they're not better than the Bills. So it elevates their chances, but just like very slightly.
Got it. How about you, Nick?
Honestly, I think this trade. Okay, as much as I want to be a
Take your
stupid
time.
ass
Take your
Dolphins
time.
fan and
Take your
start
time.
talking shit,
Take
I
your time.
honestly think it was a good trade. I don't want to say
For who? For the Dolphins?
No, it was a good. I think it was a solid trade both ways, considering what the Dolphins were trying to do with Ramsey and Jonnu. Jonnu Smith was on the last year of his contract, and he was going to want a bag. The Dolphins were going to offer him that, considering that he's had one Pro Bowl season. He's always had the potential his entire career, but let's not forget, one Pro Bowl season, the guy wants like $20 million right now.
He disappointed me when he was with the Patriots. So you guys know that's my team. So like, keep on going.
But that's what I'm saying, man. Like this guy has always had the potential to be there, and he's always either been like the backup to Hunter Henry or the backup to Austin Hooper or the backup to someone, you know? And then finally he steps up, and we've always known him as to be this very good vertical threat tight end that can get open. And that's what he proved. He can get open. But it's just, I need to see more out of him personally. And then when it comes to Jalen Ramsey, he's already had problems with the team. He's been slowing down. He was our best corner last year by far, considering that our second best was Kendall Fuller, who was injured more than half the season. So at that point, I'm going to say Kader Kohu. And Kader Kohu's not a bad nickel corner, so it's okay. But Jalen Ramsey was a guy who needed to go anyways. He was thinking of too much cap. So honestly, this is a good cap shift, and getting Minka Fitzpatrick back is honestly very nice. I would have loved it if we could have kept Javon Holland at some point, because if we could have Javon and Minka, that would have been great. But I guess we got Darren Waller instead, which I am not happy about that, Raul.
He's coming out of retirement. He had 1 year. He had 1 year to basically like explore life, explore how
life is rap career, right?
Life is out of NFL. And I think he's had time to think, and now he's still young. He can produce a little bit for the Dolphins. Because, at the same time, all right, Nick, at the same time, like, Jonnu Smith had his best season out of his whole career. They traded him. So, like, what is the Dolphins' next move? I would have thought that, obviously, it's not going to happen because Pat Freiermuth, the Steelers aren't going to trade him for Jonnu Smith. You know what I'm saying? So now they got two good tight ends in that team. But I'm just saying, like, so what is the Dolphins' next option in the tight end position? To have Darren Waller coming out of retirement, I mean, that for me is not a sign of life, but at the same time, that it's a sign of, all right, we're going to be more stable than we thought. I mean, I'm talking about, because the Dolphins are my second team. I'm a Patriot fan. It's weird. Same division. I know we're rivals. I mean, it's crazy. But at the same time, like, I gotta support a team basically in South Florida, because when my team has only gone to the playoffs once since Tom Brady decided to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in his first year winning a Super Bowl and then retiring in and out. Like, right now with the Patriots, yeah, they done good moves, but then you saw the Stephon Diggs situation. I'm glad Robert Kraft doesn't care about that type of scenario. Because if that was the occasion, I would really go crazy right now in this podcast. I like the Patriots right now. Like, when you see them going through a bright tunnel and all of a sudden this type of controversy happens with Stephon Diggs, obviously I'm going to be crying right now in front of everybody in this podcast. And so I'm not trying to let it go because Robert Kraft saved me from that type of situation. I was going to basically show you guys and the rest of the audience. All right, so going back with the Dolphins, like, having Darren Waller, you've got Tua Tagovailoa. Hopefully he's healthy. If not, Quinn Ewers, I feel like he can be the next face of that franchise.
No, man. Zach Wilson.
The MILF Hunter. Come on now.
Come on.
Yeah, dude. Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Kolya, if people are going to take you seriously, I know you're making it out of a joke.
But I'm not.
No. Hopefully you're doing it because you don't want to do that in front of Nick right now. Like, we're not.
Hey, he knows that Zach Wilson's a good player.
No,
the MILF Hunter, bro.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. All right, when you still have Tyreek Hill
this weekend.
when you have Tyreek Hill who still wants to be at the moment with the team. You got Jalen Waddle, you got Devon Achane as the running back, and now Darren Waller. Like, still your offense is still more solid and stable than what you thought it was gonna be coming into this season. Their defense got better last season. Now, obviously, Jalen Ramsey, a lot of people are saying that he's going to affect us in the back end. Jalen Ramsey is not a Pro Bowl again. Like, he's not a Pro Bowl anymore.
Who's going to be guarding the receivers, though?
He's a good veteran. We'll look for it. We'll make adjustments. Make adjustments. But people are talking about, like, we just lost the Jalen Ramsey from the LA Rams type of player. From the beginning of his career type of player. Like, Ramsey right now is basically like a Richard Sherman when he was downgrading.
With the Niners,
or
bro.
other quarterbacks. With the Niners. That's basically what he's going to be with it. I'm sorry, but not sorry at the same time. Yeah. So, like, I think the only thing that hurt for Dolphin fans was the Jonas Smith situation because they couldn't agree with him with a big extension. But Jalen Ramsey, he wanted to be out. So why do you want a player to stay when he wants us out of Miami? Exactly. So,
but the thing is with the Miami Dolphins, though, they've always had a nag for drafting these players that just turn into drama queens or have just been drama queens, you know? And Darren Waller is just one of those players that just has his personal life just involved with his professional life when it comes to the field. And it's what I cannot stand it. I cannot stand having a rapper on this fucking team, bro. Excuse my language. It fits,
right? Considering that you have Tyreek Hill.
But Raul, like you were saying before, you put the word stable next to the Miami Dolphins, and I started laughing because you put those two things right next to each other. We are the most far from stable.
I said they're trying. I said they're trying. Do you hear me?
No.
I said they're trying.
No way.
I didn't say they are. I say they're trying.
Listen, I heard trying. I just refuse to process it. That's the thing. Because I know what they're doing, bro. Chris Greer, until he figures out the offensive line instead of Larry Borum, then we will be talking about Dolphins playoffs and hopes and stuff like that. Until I see a good offensive line, then I will be talking. Because this right here doesn't mean shit to me. Getting Minka Fitzpatrick, okay, cool. We need linebackers. We need a defensive tackle. We need more corners. We need offensive line. Like, there are so many holes to this Dolphins team. It can't just be Tyreek Hill and Tua saying, fuck it, he's down there somewhere, bro.
Yeah, they can't guard receivers. So.
And then the thing that pisses me off,
they don't got the best safeties.
Jalen Ramsey's currently considering
the Dolphins.
Moving more. Yeah, the Dolphins. No. The Dolphins have pretty decent safeties at the moment. Now with Minka, this actually helps out.
Who? Javon Holland?
I don't think Minka's as good as you think he is, Nick.
Okay. Well, it's still Javon Holland and Minka Fitzpatrick. Minka Fitzpatrick statistically is better than Javon Holland, so I'll take it personally. It's also having a former Dolphin back who's gonna automatically make an on-field impact for the team. So I'll take it. 1. Also, all pro player for 3 years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. That's 1. 2, we have Ifete. Oh my God, Ifete Moanao. I'm sorry, I just probably butchered your name, sir. But he played. Melanfawu, thank you. He played for the Detroit Lions. Pretty good safety. He was good as a strong safety. Very, very nice. He started off coming off the bench for Detroit and then eventually just jumped the starting safety. I think Deshaun Elliott was your safety and he jumped him. And then now we got him. And now we took another starting safety from the New York Jets, Ashton Davis, who's not a bad safety at all, who's flexible in both nickel. No, not both. Sorry, in 3 things. He could play nickel, he could play free safety, and strong safety. So I think the safety positions are very safe right now for the Dolphins for at least maybe a few years until someone gets pissed off.
But like Fitzpatrick and Javon Holland, like you feel like Fitzpatrick is actually happy.
Holland's with the Giants.
Yeah, I was saying I wish we had Javon Holland with Minka Fitzpatrick because then we would be unstoppable.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. So,
but Nick, to your point about Minka, you're reminiscing about his glory days at the beginning of the Dolphins. If you look at the last 2 seasons with the Steelers, he has not been anywhere near the player that he was when he left the Dolphins.
Okay, but he's still been effective, and look at the
not really.
Look at the defenses that he's been on, bro.
The defense has been effective, not him.
If I look at these numbers right now, dude, I am going to.
You can look at the numbers, and then you can look at the tape. There's a difference.
I sat there and watched NFL Red Zone every week for 16 weeks, and I saw Minka Fitzpatrick playing, bro. Minka Fitzpatrick was getting TFLs, interceptions, pass deflections, everything on the field. My face is going red as fuck right now from ranting.
He's slow.
It doesn't matter, bro. He can still provide defensively on the field. He'll do something. He's going to be more effective than Ramsey, arguably, because Ramsey's slow as fuck at the quarter position now, and he's now going to probably shift over to safety. That's what they're talking about doing.
I mean, other than Fitzpatrick, the Dolphins signed Ashton Davis, and that's not a big splash.
Ashton Davis is
it's an underrated move.
It is. But he's not going to solve our defensive back issues. This honestly, I think it's going to listen. I think this is going to give a very good chance to the Steelers to win the Super Bowl this year because they've had a top 5 defense to a top 10 defense for a very long time now. If you get healthy Aaron Rodgers with a solid offensive line, because mind you, the New York Jets had the 17th worst offensive line in the NFL last year, so they could not protect him. You're giving him good receivers. You're giving him good running backs. All you have to do at that point is protect him. That's it. And then if he gets injured, then pray to God makes it off.
Who's the good running back the Steelers have?
Oh my God! Is it Najee Harris on the team still?
Najee Harris is
no, he's on the Chargers.
No!
That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about? I was like, when you got a running game, I'm like, running game. What do you have?
Jalen Warren.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Thank you, Kolya. Thank you. I mean, this dude is laughing because he knows that their offense, Chargers offense, is gonna be better than the previous years, actually, even losing a couple of wide receiver pieces. And when you got a defense with Jim Harbaugh that basically made the solution to that big problem, because when you got 4 players top paid in the league and they're not producing, because basically their defensive coordinator and their coach, which used to be Brandon Staley, is basically out of his mind.
Don't bring up that name, by the way. That name, I don't like that name.
Doesn't even know what he's doing in the defensive side. There comes Jim Harbaugh, and he resolved that issue. The Chargers actually look like an interesting team next season. The Chiefs, you can never count them out. You've seen the Houston Texans and the Jaguars making their moves in the South Division. And then where is the Steelers? Where the Bengals and the Ravens are. And now, if we
the Bengals aren't that good. The Bengals aren't that
good. Defensively. But I mean, we could.
They'll have the number 1 offense, but they'll also have the 32nd best defense.
I mean, hopefully they can resolve that issue that they have, in order for
They're-
them to be.
they're
Okay,
the
wait,
cheapest organization.
Kolya, okay, wait. So you've telling me that the 2 times in Joe Burrow's career that they've made it to the conference championship game and to the Super Bowl, their defense was elite?
They had a better defense than they have now.
They had a good, decent defense. Did they have an elite defense?
You don't need an elite defense.
Come on, man. Oh, you don't
But
need an elite
their defense is terrible. Their defense is much worse now than it was a few years ago.
So in NFL, you don't need an elite defense in order to win.
I'm not saying that, but that's why they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Bro, they were 1 period away from winning a Super Bowl against
Yeah,
the Rams.
they didn't do it though, did they? No, because their defense.
Because the Rams defense stopped Joe Burrow in that offensive scheme.
Because the Rams had a better defense. That's what I'm saying.
So, all right. So where are we disagreeing? So, all right. So
we're not disagreeing.
The Rams defense stopped the Bengals offense, but then the Bengals defense did not stop the Rams offense. Matthew Stafford executing for them in the most important plays for them to win, including Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I mean, you saw it at the end of the game. They weren't able to contain Cooper Kupp or Odell Beckham.
That's why the Rams won, because of the defense, and then the Bengals defense struggled when they were doing a good job in the first 3.
You're saying the Bengals had an elite defense when they made the Super Bowl.
I'm telling you
that they didn't.
That's what I said. Nick, what did I just say? I just said, when have the Bengals had a good defense? Never. And they made it to the Super Bowl.
Well, no. They had a good defense when they made it.
That's what you said. And I said no. And you said no, Raul. They had a good defense. They had a good defense. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
I'm so lost. You two should take the floor for this. Honestly,
I said the Bengals. When have you seen? The question was, when have the Bengals made it both times to the AFC Championship game and had a good elite defense? Never. It was all about Joe Burrow. It was all about Joe Mixon.
And I'm telling you that their defense is worse now.
It was all about T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. That was what it was all about.
Their defense just deteriorated over time. They kept their core together and they just fell apart.
Okay, but now what I'm saying, defense wins championships. Did the Bengals made it to the Super Bowl because of the defense? No, they did not. Did they make it back-to-back to the AFC Championship with the defense? No, they did not.
Well, they actually did make the Super Bowl because of their defense, because they were able to beat Mahomes.
Yeah, that AFC Championship game they did hold them.
They were down 24-3. They made a miraculous
comeback. Held them the second half.
They made a miraculous comeback. That's what happened.
Because of the defense.
No, that's not just the defense, though. The defense held, yes, they held their own.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The defense did their job in the second half.
Okay.
You can give up 27 points, and trust me, I know this as a Chargers fan. When you go up 27-0 at halftime and you wind up losing the game in the playoffs, you got to credit the defense of the other team.
The defense, or a guy that made 4 interceptions in the first half,
right?
And
that was last year. That was last year.
That was not last year. That was that
season.
Yes, it was. No. I'm talking about the guy that made the 4 interceptions and converted to 4 touchdown passes against your team. That's the one we're talking about, Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I thought you were talking about Herbert. I thought you were talking about Herbert.
I wasn't talking about Justin Herbert. I was talking about that game that if I was actually picking up on what you were saying, that Chargers and Jaguars game where Trevor Lawrence had 4 interceptions in the first half and then 4 touchdowns in the second half, and that's the reason why.
Because their defense though held up, is what I'm saying. They didn't have a good defense, but they held up, is what I'm saying.
I can't even put on this.
I cannot even believe the words that are coming out of your mouth. But
did the defense do their job or not in the second half? Yes, because they won the game.
They did. But what about their offense? You need to score.
Well, yeah, their offense was because their defense did a great job.
All right, just to end this topic, when the Patriots won that miraculous Super Bowl against the Falcons. It was their defense in 17 minutes. Only 17 minutes.
Yeah,
Only
but their
17.
offense.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Their offense is the one that was starting to produce
But their
at the end of
defense
that game
held the Falcons
for 17 minutes.
Yeah,
Not the whole
that's all
game.
you need. That's all you need. You can hold games for 15 to 20 minutes.
Kolya, listen to what you're saying. When we're talking about if a defense can win a championship, you need to rely on them the whole game, not only the last 20
you don't.
minutes.
And that's proof. That's proof. The Patriots are proof for that.
All right, so let's just say that the Patriots defense, what they did, basically hold up the Falcons defense, the Falcons offense for the last 2 minutes in the third and the 15 minutes in the fourth. But what if Tom Brady and that offensive scheme didn't produce?
Then they would have gotten blown out.
Exactly. So the offense was the reason why they made that big comeback, even though the defense
you can't have good offense without good defense.
Oh my God! This lecture from Kolya is making my head spin. Okay, Kolya.
This is why we do it. So
you both have been making my head spin about this. I can't process this.
All right, let's just finish it. Does this elevate the Steelers' chances at a Super Bowl? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, but slightly. And does this hurt the Dolphins? Yes.
No, because I need Aaron Rodgers to produce offensively. So that's my answer. And the Dolphins right now, offensively, they're, let's just say, stable or decent, just to not make Nick go crazy. Defensively, I think like one or two more signings can actually make them a team that can make more noise in the division and in the AFC this season.
What?
Yeah, I'm talking about the Dolphins.
Are you are you saying that offense is more important than defense?
Wait. All right, what? I'm not saying offense. I'm not saying offense is more, but at the same time, the defense can hold it down. But you need to put points on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Like, look at the Patriots.
That's what we agree.
How did the Patriots win the Super Bowl against the Rams? They only scored 13. As long as you put points, you're gonna win.
And they held the Rams to 3.
Exactly. Good job from the defense. But but how do you win that game? How do you win that game?
At the end of the day, you got to score more points.
You need to score.
You don't need to put up a lot of
That's what I'm saying. Now, can we rely on Aaron Rodgers doing that?
No.
See to believe.
No.
So wait. All right. So now I'm confused.
I don't trust a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers.
All right. So why did you just agree with Nick? Does this elevate the Steelers' chances at a Super Bowl? You just said yes.
Because of their defense.
I mean, I agree with that because when me and Nick and Anthony were talking about does Rodgers signing with the Steelers make them contenders, both of them agree that yes. I said no because the Steelers have been carrying that defense. That defense has been carrying the offense since
and Jonnu Smith doesn't move them offensively.
I mean,
it's another really good weapon to have.
I mean, as a backup to Pat Freiermuth or being next to him in the line.
He's gonna be starting over Freiermuth. That's what this.
I think they'll both start together. I think they'll run some 2 tight end sets.
They either start together.
That's what they're gonna do.
That's what they're
since they don't got a big running game right now after Najee Harris, they both are starting. If not, if Mike Tomlin is putting somebody above another, it's gonna be Pat Freiermuth. But
if it's the run game, it's going to be Freiermuth any day of the week. They're going to shove him in and just be a blocker at that point. But they're going to have Freiermuth come in and play in the dual tight end sets most likely and just be like a what is it called? A fade option, if I'm not mistaken. Where it's
they'll probably have Freiermuth playing some slot this upcoming season too, maybe.
No, that's going to be Jonnu. It's going to be Jonnu playing. So I'm telling you,
it'll probably be the other way.
It's going to be the other way.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, your answers were yes and yes. Kolya, you said yes.
Yes, I said yes.
Nick, you said yes. And how badly does it hurt the Dolphins? I feel my answer is going to be it doesn't kill them. That's gonna be my
It
answer.
It does kill them because they're not going to be able to guard Stephon Diggs. They're not going to be able to guard Garrett Wilson. They're not going to be able to guard all of these teams that they're playing and their number one receivers because they don't have a corner.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Jake. I'm just nodding my head.
All right. So I want to agree to that part. We're gonna do a 10-minute overtime in this podcast because we want to talk a little bit more about free agency, and then next
NBA
week,
free agency.
NBA free agency, and
Yeah.
we're gonna continue talking about it through the next weeks because it's gonna be crazy. Also, we also gotta talk like some certain trades, but just to end at this note, try to put other players because right now, Stephon Diggs. After that controversial situation,
After the boat incident.
don't talk to me about them have to be worrying about a wide receiver like Stephon Diggs unless he proves me wrong. Like, I believe in him. I feel like he's a top 5 wide receiver. From last season, no. But in general, I still believe he can be, and he is. But now, outside scenarios, like we've seen with other wide receivers, it affects on what they can do throughout the season. So try to talk about Justin Jefferson. Try to talk about.
Oh, they don't play Justin Jefferson. I don't know if they play Justin Jefferson.
I mean, depending on the. I mean, no. I'm just. I'm not talking about. I'm trying to talk about top 5 wide receivers that they can possibly encounter. You know what I'm saying? Like during.
Do they play? Do they play the Vikings?
If I'm not mistaken, that's not part of their schedule. But what I'm trying to say is that don't mention Stephon Diggs, even though he's in the same division, and they're gonna see them twice.
Hey, just because he's older doesn't mean that he can't produce.
We don't know if he is gonna be in the rotation. Injury wise, that he got from Texans. Remember that.
He'll be fine. He'll take the pink substance and he'll be good.
Oh, come on, man! Now you're talking about substances, and that's actually what got him in trouble.
Please,
no, we know.
Please, man, don't be talking about that. But let's go through a different scenario right now. NBA free agency. So our headliner Anthony Aguirre said NBA free agency recap. Which free agency signing surprised you the most, and which team has been a clear winner? Before
Raul,
you guys,
you should take it away first, since you haven't gone first yet, in my opinion.
Do you want to read Anthony's statement?
Do you want to take it?
No. I mean, you could go first. I can read his statement though if you want.
Read a statement, and then I'll go.
All right. So he said, the Denver Nuggets are the biggest winners.
Oh,
the Denver Nuggets are the biggest winners.
He's having technical difficulties. I can take over.
Take over. Until
all right. So according to Anthony,
all right. Wait.
The Denver Nuggets are the biggest.
Keep reading.
Yeah, just keep going.
The Denver Nuggets are the biggest winners this offseason. They were the 3rd seed this past season with a weak bench and still managed to take OKC to 7 games. Now, Denver replaces Michael Porter Jr. and Dario Saric with Cam Johnson and Jonas Valanciunas. That is very good additions. Also, they brought back Bruce Brown Jr. and signed Tim Hardaway Jr., 2 solid pieces off the bench. This is how they are so to maximize their window with Nikola Jokic. I believe they'll be number 1 in the West next season and make it back to the conference finals. Most surprising move, though, has to be by Miles Turner to Milwaukee. It's crazy how Indiana tried to lowball him. I don't think they're contenders, but never saw that one coming.
Does he actually think that the Nuggets are going to be number 1, by the way? That's a crazy take.
All right, so
it's not a bad take.
It's
a crazy take.
It's all right. No, Kolya, it's not a crazy take because actually Denver has had the best bench since they won the championship. I gotta agree.
They have the best player in the world on your team.
They got the best player in the world, and Cameron Johnson is actually the future. Michael Porter Jr. is actually
the past. He's the past.
No, it's not only that he has passed. He's been inconsistent and injured, and he's not a big factor on them winning a championship in 2023. I'm just gonna let that out. Cameron Johnson, he was balling in that finals with the Phoenix Suns, so he actually is hungry. He's hungry to go back to that stage. Bruce Brown, we already saw what he did coming off the bench. Jonas Valanciunas as a backup for Nikola Jokic. Jokic can actually have more than 10 minutes on the bench resting. And the other pieces that they have, like, they actually look even more interesting than when they won the first championship. It's not a bad take.
I don't agree. Like I agree,
Go ahead.
Are they better than the Thunder? Like, are they going to be finished with a better record than the Thunder?
I mean, they were one game away from beating the Thunder without all those pieces.
No. In the regular season, because that's what he's saying. He's saying they're going to be the number one team in the West next year.
All right, so I disagree with that. But continue.
No. I mean, it's.
All right. So I disagree with that. I feel like the Thunders are still gonna, like, for third straight year, be number one in the West. I mean, they don't have to make any other additions. Like, they're gonna stay with the same core, and they already have that chemistry. They're still looking like the best defense coming off next season. At the same time, having a coach like Mardano, who's coach of the year. They got the reigning MVP, the reigning Western Conference Finals MVP, the Finals MVP, the scoring champion, and then you got Jalen Williams, who has ascended to being a top scorer, a second piece that they can rely on. You saw that 40-piece McNuggets that he scored during that series against the Indiana Pacers. Chet Holmgren, I said it in my sports show the whole time. Where has been a game that you say the Thunders won against the Grizzlies, against the Nuggets, against the Timberwolves, that he was the main factor? None of them. And I said, if the Thunders
didn't matter, they still won.
If the Thunder have a big chance of winning it, since they're the favorites, Chet Holmgren has to have a big impact. He had it in the most important game of his career, surpassing Kevin Garnett in most blocks in a 7-game series. 5 blocks, even with a double-double. So this actually gives him a little bit more, like, hype with that. And then with the pieces that they have around, they're still young, fresh legs. And
well, so I don't think anybody's disagreeing outside of Anthony that the Thunder are going to finish number one.
All right. So I just wanted to make that statement, since he said that the Nuggets, since Nick and you mentioned they were going to be number one. No, that's crazy. And I still actually think the Mavericks can. I still think the Mavericks can be a better position than Nuggets. I feel like the Rockets can even be a better position than the Nuggets. The Nuggets are going to be.
Say they are going to be number one. I just said it's not a bad hot take that they can be number one, because they do have the best. All
right. So you said it's a hot take. All right. I put Nuggets top 5. I actually got the Rockets, the Mavericks, and the Thunder over them. I got those 3 teams.
3.
All right, those 3. All right. So I said top 5. So all right. So you want me to include?
Yes. So you should say top 4.
So let me make you happy. I'll include the Clippers. There you go. Case closed. All right, I'll put the Clippers also, since they were 1 game away from eliminating them from the first round. All right, so let's put that aside. So those are I said Thunder, Clippers, Rockets, and Mavericks. 4 teams, so they're top 5. Yeah, I put those 4 teams. Yeah, I put those 4 teams over the Nuggets. Hell yeah! All right, so they are
over Dallas is crazy. Over Dallas is crazy,
bro. All right. You'll have your chance. You'll have your chance. For me, guys, they made those moves, and yeah, let's just say they were bigger. One of the biggest winners, because recruiting Kevin Durant, for me, that was a big win.
From the Rockets? Teams.
Yeah,
you're saying the Rockets are the big winners
in the West? No, I'm not saying in general. I'll elaborate this 2 quick minutes so Nick can take the floor. I'm saying the Rockets are the winners because they got Kevin Durant, and they didn't have to sacrifice big. Like Jalen Green disappointed. He just showed he cannot be a face of franchise.
He shot tour dates.
What?
He did tour dates as his numbers. 4 for 29.
That's what I'm saying. Dylan Brooks, he's the villain of the league, whatever. And then all the draft assets that they offered. The Rockets got what they wanted. A superstar who is MVP, 2-time Finals MVP, and a 2-time championship that can help mentor those other young players from the Rockets and make noise in the West, and he's joining a guy that beat him in the 2019 NBA Finals, which was an X factor called Fred VanVleet. He's got Alperen Sengun, who is an all-star. And the rest of the piece, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't Ime Udoka the guy that brought the Celtics his first year? Even though Nick tells them they're a fraud. Yes, they are a fraud, but he still brought that fraud team to the finals. He brought that team to the finals. Ime Udoka, defensive mindset. Like the Rockets right now, in my opinion, they were the biggest winners in the West. Nuggets are right there. But guys, let's talk about the East. Who are you guys putting favorite in that conference? Who?
Well, in the right now,
who's the favorites?
I'll let Nick answer first.
Bro, you go. Come on, man. I was getting ready to set up with my Western Conference predictions.
Oh, okay. I can go.
Okay. A quick answer. Who is the team that you say they're gonna be number one in the?
They're gonna hate me for this, but I'm gonna say.
He's going to say the Magic.
I'm not going to say the Magic in the East. Fuck that. In the West, very quickly, I just want to say top three: OKC, Dallas, Denver. That's my top three right now.
Okay. We'll have to have that topic for next time.
In the West, I'm going to take Dallas as my winners because they got able to re-sign Kyrie Irving for 3 years on their extension. They re-signed Dante Exum for more guard depth. And on top of that, they brought in D'Lo, who was fantastic for their position and what they need. He can be a six-man that can play the style of his game and do whatever he wants. Currently, in the East right now, I'm going to say Chicago now.
And Cooper Flag. And what about Cooper Flag?
Chicago?
And what about Cooper Flag? And what
about I'm just saying free agency. I'm not including the draft. But even with Cooper Flag,
you gotta include the draft. Because they're building a team.
It would have said the draft. We would say the off season. It says NBA free agency on the screen.
For total season, you have Najee Marshall, you have Cooper Flag, you have Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. I can go on.
It says free agency on the screen, so we got to talk about the free agents.
Well, if you want me to dick ride the fucking Mavs, bro, I can if you need me to. I prefer.
All right, so now can I answer who actually are the winners?
Yeah.
Guys, they are in an East flexible side, which all those contending teams are actually injured. You got the Pacers, who just lost Miles Turner. They don't have Halliburton next season. You got the Milwaukee Bucks, who we don't know what's going to happen with Giannis. He's probably going to ask his out of Milwaukee.
Who's going to be the number one option?
We got the Sixers, who is a crazy scenario because we don't know if they're going to trade Paul George. Embiid,
I think they'll be good.
Embiid, if he's, can you rely on Embiid being healthy? Yes or no?
Can you rely on Paul George being healthy?
Can you? Okay, those are two.
But I'm saying I think that they're going to be good.
All right, exclude that. All right, so you got the Celtics, who right now are creating cap space. Since Anthony's been speaking about all that type of scenario, they're basically looking for the future. And then right now, you got the Knicks, who actually, what was the move that they just made? They signed Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
That's a big move to get them. And Gwenjason Jabusele.
Yeah. That was a good move too.
So right now, I was actually in a mixed feeling. Because right now, with those acquisitions that the Knicks made, and now Mike Brown's the new head coach. Mike Brown is the new head coach for that team. So I was going to pick another team above them. The Knicks, for me, are clearly the favorites because right now in the East side against Cleveland, they actually could look like the favorites. But right now, the team that's actually surprised the hell out of us, and right now they can look like that 2021 team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You guys know who I'm talking about. The Atlanta Hawks.
So they've been the team that you think won free agency.
The Atlanta Hawks have made the team better than what we saw in 2021. And right now, what they are actually doing in the Eastern Conference is making themselves look even better than the rest of the teams that we thought were going to be elite contenders above them. I mean, how are you guys? I'm not going to agree that the Hawks with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, with Luke Kennard, with Kristaps Porzingis.
I actually want to argue on
And if they retain Caris LeVert, like the Hawks are actually
Well,
looking
no,
like
they
a
lost
big
Karis
interesting.
LeVert.
Nobody assigned them.
Yeah, the Pistons signed him.
Oh yeah, the Pistons signed with Duncan,
Yeah,
bro.
he signed with the Pistons
Sorry,
Recently? When? What was that?
a few days ago.
Really?
Yeah, they got him and Duncan Robinson now.
So the Pistons actually look like sleepers in the.
Ah!
But at the same time, I'm still saying the Hawks needed to make those moves in order for them not to lose Trey Young. That's the most important thing. Not lose the face of the
they've been your winner.
franchise.
All right.
So I got
what free agency signing?
I said I had the Hawks, but then but when I saw the Knicks making those moves and the new head coaching job, what do you pick, Mike Brown or Quinn Snyder?
Quinn Snyder?
You've got to be.
He's done.
Bro, Mike Brown has been terrible ever since he got it. There was a reason he got fired last year.
Both of them suck in my opinion. I don't like either.
I think Quinn Snyder's a better coach, though. All right, Nick, go ahead. What team has been the clear winner?
Two-time Coach of the Year. With teams that didn't have the Cleveland Cavaliers, the year that he won, didn't have no expectations.
What happened last year? What happened last year with the Kings?
He brought the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs for the first time in 17 years.
What happened last year? What happened this past season with the Kings? He got fired midway through the season because they were horrible.
Oh my God, you're gonna blame it all on him?
Yes.
This is what I'm hating about teams firing their coaches. They have no patience. They basically give up on them.
It's the Kings. I mean, I don't blame him.
The Denver Nuggets didn't give up on Michael Malone. So the Bucks didn't give up on Adrian Griffin when they were the second best team in the East, and then all of a sudden they hired Doc Rivers.
Michael Malone should have been the signing to the Knicks, in my opinion. That should have been the new head coach. If I was the Knicks, I would have gone for Michael Malone.
Have you seen all these teams that give up on their coaches once they do big things? Make it to the finals, win a championship, win Coach of the Year.
All right, so you're saying the Knicks are gonna make the finals then? All right. So we know your take now.
Right now, I have them as the favorite in the East.
No way. All right. So what? So they've been the clear winner for you in free agency. Okay. But what free agent has surprised you the most?
What they needed? They needed depth in the bench, and that's exactly what they got.
What free agency signing has surprised you the most?
What did they need? They have the best starting lineup.
They had a bench, and Thibodeau didn't play him.
What bench? Did you, Nick, please. Nick, you're gonna let him get away with this? You're really gonna let him get away with this?
I swear to God, if you say campaign on the bench, I'm going to
Deuce.
Whoa, Deuce McBride! Oh my God,
Mitchell Robinson.
Bro, with the New York Knicks, they actually now have a real six-man coming off their bench.
Miles McBride. He's been on the team the whole time.
Bro, you don't even get okay. You know what? My free agency winner was Atlanta, and my free agency sleeper was Dallas signing D'Lo. There you go. You guys argue the rest of the show. Have fun.
What? Raul didn't even answer any of the questions. So
did I just say the Knicks?
You said the Knicks. Okay. So what free agency signing surprised you the most?
Free agency surprised me the most. I've got to say it's got to be mostly because in the East side, we didn't see like a big I got to go with Miles Turner with the Bucks.
Yeah, outside of Miles Turner, yeah.
I got to say Miles Turner with the Bucks because with the Denver Nuggets side, they traded for Jonas Valanciunas.
Yeah.
And then
and Cam Johnson too.
And those both were trades, and then Bruce Brown, he's already signed with them, like signing back with them. All right, like he needed to do that. Like he had to get out of Toronto.
I think, in my opinion, what free agency signing surprised me the most. I'm actually going to go with a different answer here. I'm going to say Tyus Jones to the Magic. I think that was a surprising move.
That was interesting
because they don't really they have point guards, and they drafted a guard, and now they signed Tyus Jones for a 1-year deal.
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no because remember they traded Cole Anthony. He wasn't a starting point guard.
But then
they utilized him as a backup. So basically, they didn't have a point guard, and now Tyus Jones.
I think it was a surprising move though that he could have gotten a bigger contract in my opinion.
I mean, it's just that the outcome with the Phoenix Suns, maybe that affected him a little bit.
Yeah,
You feel
I
me?
think that the
He
team
was
that
in and out.
surprised
He
me
was
the
in and
most,
out of the
or the
starting.
team that I think won, I don't know. I'm gonna say the Clippers because we were able to re-sign Batum. We were able to, bring back Harden. We signed a good backup center and not Ben Simmons. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Clippers. Obviously, I think Denver is gonna be, good. Dallas is gonna be good, but I'm gonna go with the Clippers. I think. I mean, I may be biased, but who knows?
No, actually, for me, it's gonna be most surprise. Like the winners for me, I'm still saying the Knicks because they needed depth in the bench. But at the same time, surprisingly, like I gotta go with what Nick said. D'Angelo signing with the Mavericks because he's gonna be starting, but then he's gonna be a backup when
I
Kyrie
actually think
enters.
another surprising
And
signing
then
was
Miles Turner with
Dennis Schroeder.
Milwaukee. With
I think that was a surprise signing because to give him $15 million a year is insane.
yeah, well, he's actually not that
But,
big
but Sacramento is just they're chokers, man. They don't know what they're
That's
doing.
what I'm saying. Yeah,
And DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine, we're probably gonna see them in another team
and Sabonis too.
and Sabonis. So
Yeah,
like that's let's just say a decent signing by Sacramento, not a big signing. So I think we can all agree in this part, just to end the show on the right note, that D'Angelo with Dallas, that was very interesting. But Miles Turner with Milwaukee, like, what was Indiana thinking? I know they were gonna go over the luxury tax, and they were gonna, but you guys were one game away from a
he
championship.
wasn't
Why
great though
not?
in that final
All
series.
right, But are you guys seeing the starting lineup without Halliburton and him? Bro, it's
Well, I think they're fine
crazy.
without Halliburton. I think Nembhard is a fine guard.
I see the Pacers as a play-in team. And
I think
and you know why I'm
Nembhard
playing
is a good guard.
and I'm actually being nice to them, because like if Boston would be healthy, if Milwaukee would have lost Damian Lillard and he would be healthy, let's see Giannis Antetokounmpo's decision. Philadelphia, let's see if they can work their shit up, like like the word that Nick said a couple of times in this show. When
Hey man, the Miami Heat, man, they're
Knicks,
making moves.
so
Simone Fontecchio, man, he's the future.
Raul, just end the show.
all right, so guys, thank you for being a part of this another crazy scenario show with me, Nick Dupont, Kolya Zabler. Big shout out to Anthony. Hope to see him next week. We'll end it at this note. We got lots of headlines to talk about next week because training camp is approaching. The NHL draft agency as well as the NBA. We still got a lot of topics to talk about. The WNBA, the Indiana Fever just won their first ever Commissioner's Cup
Yeah, shout out to them.
without Kaden Clark
Yeah,
against the best team in the West and the best team in the league, the Minnesota Lynx, which won last year. And we got the Wimbledon just started, and Coco Gauff just got eliminated in the first
I know
round.
that was
Crazy.
surprising.
That was very surprising. Right now, like Sabalenka and Emily Raducanu, she just won today. Like those are actually the favorites to win in the women's side. We gotta analyze.
Well, they play against each other. They're gonna play against each
They're
other in
gonna
the
play
next round.
so that's gonna be actually a very interesting matchup. But I think
Yeah.
whoever wins between both of them, I think they can make it all the way to the championship round. And then the men's side, we still got a lot to analyze. But yeah, we got so many headlines to talk about next week. So guys, have a great week. Enjoy 4th of July and be
Yes,
safe.
sir. You as well.
And guys, let's keep it rolling. It was an interesting show today.
It was fun. It was fun.
See you guys.